Krista, a 43-year-old housewife. I used to live happily with my husband, but I went through a tough experience in the past. So, that's what I'm going to tell you today. I married my ex-husband Cade when I was 30. At first, he was very romantic and nice, but he gradually changed after we got married. He used to complain about my cooking and didn't help out with any household chores. I was also working at that time, but he would say things like, "Housework is a woman's job. I earn more money, so you should do everything. Men are superior to women." His salary was indeed higher than mine. I used to earn around $2,300 per month, but he earned around $2,500 per month. So he looked down on me and made those kind of comments. But personally, I feel like being talked down to for just a difference of $200 was ridiculous. So I would sometimes talk back and say things like, "You say you earn more, but it's only a difference of $200. Why do you talk down to me like that?" Then he got pretty angry and started yelling loudly, "Shut up! I don't need to be lectured by someone who can't even earn that $200. I will always be better than you. Who do you think is supporting you?" I was yelled at in that way. I had already become tired of arguing back. It was useless since he always thought he was the best. Gradually, I became exhausted. Furthermore, he blamed me for not being able to have children, even after we had been married for several years. So, when I was 34 years old, I decided to finally undergo infertility treatment. But he was not cooperative at all. Even when I said I wanted to try the timing method, he didn't seem interested. He just told me this: "Infidelity is definitely caused by women. Get some medicine and get it cured." If it was that easy to cure infertility, I don't think there would be any women suffering from infertility. Besides, my test results showed that there was nothing wrong with me in particular. So, it could either be unexplained by infertility or the cause could be due to him. So I asked him to get himself checked, but he refused. He would always shout at me like this: "Are you trying to say like it's my fault? It's obviously caused by your sickness. Why should I have to do something like that? It's a waste of money." It was impossible to talk to him, and predictably, we were unable to conceive a baby. During that time, the atmosphere at home became very cold. I was always scared and anxious around him. I didn't say anything and just served him meals. He would eat in silence and leave his dishes, then go straight to the bedroom. One day, Kate told me he had something to discuss with me. When I arrived at the dining table, he handed me a divorce document that had already been filled out. "Look, there's no point in being with you anymore, so let's break up." Huh? What's the point of being with a woman who can't get pregnant? I can only think that there's something fundamentally wrong with you as a woman because you can't have children. Wait, you haven't even been tested yet. It might not be my fault. As I was about to say that, he said aggressively, "You're trying to blame me? Who do you think is supporting you? My income is higher than yours, so don't act like you're old like that. I don't need an old hag like you anymore. Just looking at a 40-year-old hag like you is such a turn-off. Get out of here. Disappear already." He said such terrible things, and I burst out into tears. It's true that my feelings for him had faded, but still, I thought we could start over or talk about things. But he said those things to me, and I realized he had never thought about starting over or talking about those things. So I left the house, but really, I felt like I was being chased out. For a while, I stayed with my parents and looked for a new place to live. There was an apartment near my office and it had a vacant room, so I rented it. And so I started my new life. When I turned 42, something changed. I met a man through an acquaintance and gradually became close to him. We went on dates together, and the man made a reservation at a hotel restaurant with a view of the skyline on Christmas. I dressed up as much as I could for the first time in my life. Then, he gave me a large diamond engagement ring. That's how I married this man. Looking back, I think my life has been one heck of a journey. My current husband, Simon, is really kind and caring. In contrast, my ex-husband Cade was condescending towards me and never really understood me. I couldn't believe how different he was compared to my current husband, even though they're both men. After that, I quit my job. I had already not been feeling well, but Simon was worried about me, so He said this to me: "You don't have to push yourself too hard. Just do what you can at home." I was grateful to my husband and worked hard on the household chores. He always seemed happy about it. He complimented me on my cooking and ate everything I made, and he willingly did the dishes. I really think meeting Simon was the best thing that ever happened to me. One day, Simon and I went shopping together because I needed to buy something at the mall. He drove and we arrived in about 30 minutes. Suddenly, he said he had a stomachache and went to the bathroom. I was worried because it had been getting cold lately, so maybe he had an upset stomach. I decided to look around a miscellaneous goods store instead of the mall by myself. Then I heard a familiar voice from behind me. "Hey, what are you doing here? When I turned around, my ex-husband was standing there. He grinned and approached me. "Breaking up with you was the right choice. You're so fat now. It's over for you." It's pathetic for a single, ugly, overweight woman. He continued, laughing to himself. People around us turned their heads to our attention, and I felt so uncomfortable. They must be wondering what kind of conversation we were having. My ex continued. "I'm so glad we got a divorce. I was able to date cute girls after we broke up." "Oh, really? Look at your belly. Aren't you embarrassed looking like that?" "Ah, old ladies. I'm just glad we got divorced. You're so fat you look like a sumo wrestler." My ex-husband explained, holding his stomach and laughing out loud, so I responded to him. "I feel the same way. Thank you for divorcing me. This is my baby bump." "What?" My ex-husband opened his eyes wide, surprised and stunned. He clearly had no idea what I was talking about. I'm pregnant. After we divorced, I remarried, and I'm now pregnant with my current husband. "Wait a minute, weren't you infertile?" "No, I wasn't. I had the test done before, and there was nothing abnormal, remember?" "I'm really happy to be pregnant." My ex-husband looked puzzled, wondering how I could get pregnant when he thought I was infertile and couldn't possibly conceive. But if I could get pregnant, it means there was nothing wrong with me, as the doctor had said. That meant that the problem was probably my ex. So me being pregnant doesn't mean that there was something wrong with me, but rather with you. You refused to get tested, but there must have been a problem with you. You blamed me, but it turns out you were the one who had the problems. Cade's expression changed to frustration, and he raised his eyebrows. He was probably angry at being told that he might have male infertility. His ears turned red, and it was clear he was quite upset. Then he spoke in a hurry. "There's no way I have any problems. Besides, isn't it embarrassing for an old lady like you to get pregnant? Do you even know how old you are? If a woman over 40 gives birth to a child, the child will suffer. You're just a bundle of ego. If you became pregnant and gave birth at 40, you'll be over 60 when your child is 20 years old. So I understood that it would be also called the parent's ego by society. I've heard stories of children taking care of their elderly parents. However, I really wanted a child, so I tried to get pregnant with my current husband. And I easily became pregnant. No matter what people say, I want to give birth to this baby. If I do, I will work hard for my child and never let him or her suffer. And when my husband and I get old, we plan to enter a facility right away. I thought about my children's future, and I didn't want to cause any trouble. That's why we're saving money. If our child wants to go to the university they desire, we intend to let them go. And then we'll fully enjoy our retirement at a facility. That's the future I envisioned. So I thought it was not fair for my ex to say all of those things to me. That's why I decided to respond clearly to him. I'm not planning on causing you any trouble, so who cares? I don't deserve to be told from someone like you, who can't even get a woman pregnant. You won't even be able to have kids anyway, so I guess there's no need for you to worry about anything. I envy you. Then my ex-husband started talking rapidly. I bet your current husband doesn't even have a decent job. I guess he was just curious to marry an old lady like you. I bet he doesn't even make that much money. My salary has gone up and I make close to $50,000 annually now. At that moment, Simon arrived, his stomachache seemingly gone. He said to my ex-husband, I make $250,000 a year though. What? I'm an OBGYN and I have my own clinic. Simon said this and my ex was stunned. He had thought to belittle us, but now he was surprised. In truth, Simon is an OBGYN. His father was an OBGYN and so was his late grandfather. In addition, my mother-in-law is a pediatrician and my sister-in-law is a cosmetic surgeon. At first, I wasn't sure if I could marry into such a prestigious family, but they were all so kind and accepting. They never looked down on me, and I know I married into a wonderful family. As my ex said, I'm a woman over 40, but they didn't oppose our marriage. When Simon and I tried to leave Cade, he came running to us, and he shouted at me, "You traitor! How could you leave me and choose a man for money? You're just greedy for money." I couldn't understand what he said even a bit. He was the one who left me, so why did I have to be called a traitor? You have some nerve calling me a traitor. You're the one who left me. You're a jerk. What did you just say? I'm a gentleman, and women love me. The ex-husband persistently yelled at me. The stares of people around us were fixated on us. It was really unpleasant. I can't help but say that my ex-husband is completely insane. He's just harassing me because he's in a disadvantageous situation. He was absolutely the worst human being. He was so persistent that I decided to make a final counterattack. Oh, a gentleman, huh? That's a good one. A disgusting old man who targets only 20-year-old female college students? What? Do you know what they're saying about you on their internet forum? You're a creepy old man who lies about being a business owner and deceives young women. How lame. Cade looked at me like he was about to cry. What I said must have hit the mark and he was filled with regret. My ex had an abnormal obsession with 20-year-old female college students. Apparently he wanted to date them and marry the most beautiful one among them. So he approached one of them and even lied to them. He was a show-off, so it's not surprising that he did such things. But it's crazy to deceive young women. Also, it seems that all the women who were deceived by him were just asked for money by him. He apparently hinted at marriage and asked them for funding to build a house in the future. Of course, since they were all still university students, they couldn't afford that large of amount of money. Despite that, they were scared and ended up giving him the money when he pressured them. Apparently, he had collected the money and left it at that. So the girls realized they had been deceived. That's how warnings started to be posted on the internet forums. I always read them and I happened to come across it. The description of the man's features matched Cade's perfectly, so I immediately knew. He was about 5'4", thin, had a thick beard, always smoked, among other things. Although the details about his workplace were vague, based on the content, it was very clear that it was his company. When I told him everything, his face turned pale. That's not true. I haven't done anything wrong. Well, I think you've done plenty wrong. Won't the girls file a complaint against you? I don't want that. If that happens, I won't even be able to stay at the company. Who cares? No, I want to get promoted in the future. No, you won't. From now on, you just need to atone for your sins. You've been verbally abusive enough to me. But you're the one overestimating yourself, you pathetic old man. Ugh, how disgusting. Should I tell the police right now? At that, the ex begged me not to do that. Since the crowd of people had gathered, my husband and I left the scene quickly, feeling embarrassed. After that, Cade cried a lot and his voice echoed throughout the floor. I quickly finished shopping with my husband and returned to the car. After that, I reported the wrongdoing of my ex to the police. A few days later, news spread that Cade had been arrested for deceiving young women and making them pay. I didn't know what to feel when I saw my ex-husband appear on TV in that way. But he did something wrong, so he deserved it. He should sincerely apologize and return the money to the women who were victimized. In the end, my ex-husband caused a stir as a marriage swindler. It seems that there was a trial, but since he had already swindled the money from many women, he would be found guilty. Then he wouldn't be able to live as a member of society anymore. Although I was treated badly by my ex, I'm happy now. I want to stay healthy for the baby who will be born soon. When the child is older, I want to help out at the clinic as well. So my goal for now is to stabilize my physical condition.